What heart from South Africa. Pride and passion in the jersey.
The offload, South Africa, that's unbelievable!
Pops it beautifully off the deck, keeps it alive, and is Nadine Roos with their second. They're going for another score. Does she go all the way in at the corner? What a fantastic try!
And she has got serious wheels. That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
Hello, my name is Nadine Roos. I play rugby for the Springbok Women's Sevens team. My biggest achievement so far was representing South Africa at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 and also representing the Springboks at the Rugby World Cup Sevens that was held in San Francisco in July. Since childhood, I grew up with my grandmother. The reason for that is there was a time when I was very little, I was a baby still, and I was in daycare, and my mother never came to fetch me for about 3 days that I stayed at the daycare, and the daycare called my grandmother to ask her where's my mother. She never came to fetch me, and so since that time my grandmother decided to drive 250 kilometers from where my grandmother stays to come and fetch me at the daycare, because my mother never came to fetch me because she was too busy with other kinds of stuff in her life then, like men were important for her. She did drug abuse and smoking and alcohol, so that was her life when she decided not to be there for me as a mother. So then my grandmother just said, like, they will not send me to an orphan house. She will take me into care because I'm her blood, and as long as I'm her blood, she will take care of me. And since baby, I grew up with my grandmother. She's been a big part of my life since then. I grew up on a farm, very privileged to be growing up there between boys, and I do know who my real father is, but I don't have a relationship with my real father because I feel he wasn't a part of my life, and then when he decided to be a part of it, he's a no-show. He never makes time to call me to ask me how you're doing, how's it going with the rugby, or things like that. So yeah, that was my childhood. Since primary school, I did any sport there was in school. I did swimming, athletics, tennis, played rugby, cross country. I started with CrossFit when I was in high school. So sport was a big part of my life since childhood, and you're always active on a farm. We played tackle rugby, and by that time boys are just a little bit ahead with the physical part. My grandmother and them, they used to be so afraid that I would get hurt between the boys, but I was always learning how to stand up for myself in those situations, and that's how I started with the sports in my life. Because sport was my escape from not being able to have the happy childhood I could have had, that was also my drive, and my drive was to not become what my mother was. When I got to university in 2015, my first year, that's when I started playing rugby at the University of Pretoria. And a month later, I was selected to go and play in an international tournament in France. And in that same year, at the end of the year, I played for a club at the Interprovincial Sevens, the same tournament where I got the national playoff tournament, where I was selected for the U.S.A select team. And since then, I was progressively getting into the Springbok Women's Sevens team. Since then, I was always in for a tournament and always giving my best and chasing the dream. The first time my grandmother told me about why I didn't grow up with my mother and why she wasn't a big part of my life, it was kind of a shock to me. Also, the other part was in high school when I'm a shy person. So in high school, I was shy to tell people I grew up with my grandmother, because for me, I didn't feel like it's a thing to tell other people. And yeah, for me, I was just scared. I was scared of telling people, listen, I'm living with my grandmother. I don't have my parents because for the right reasons, and I never wanted to tell people that's the reason why I'm not staying with my mother or my parents. And even now and then, like, I still struggle to forgive my mother for what she's done for me or what she have done to me, but I've made peace with it in my heart. More sport-related obstacles I faced in my life was in the first 2 years, so when I was 14 and 15 years old, I could have never reached a provincial team. I never made provincial colours because I never made the time, and at times I became a little bit discouraged because I felt I wasn't good enough. But when I had that feeling, like, it never made me stop. It always made me work harder, and I think without sport, I wouldn't have been able to escape from my life being the child with other parents, having so much anger about it, being sad, being bullied as a little kid. And for me, that helped me with that self-discipline and that self-esteem to be strong as a person. And all those challenges I faced in the past and as a child, it made me a stronger person, what I am today. I was blessed enough to grow up in a Christian home, and having my grandmother believing in God and knowing who God was when there was hard times showed me that it doesn't matter what happens in your life, God is always there. And there was never a time when I was not believing in God. There was times where I questioned, why is this happening to me? Why is it that I don't have my father or mother? And He showed me, you're a strong person. And why do you need a father if I am your father? It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to feel sad sometimes. It's okay to feel discouraged by times, because you are only a person. And faith has been a big part of my life, and it will always be. And I will always put God first, and I will always be thankful for God for blessing me with the talents I have today and for blessing me as a person. When there ever comes a time in your life when you feel negative or you feel hurt or you feel that you've been hurt by someone else, is not to go and be like, but the world owes me everything. Don't let the bad things shape you, but let all the good things, the things that you've been blessed with, shape you as a person. And also is whenever I feel sad, lonely, I will pray to God to give me strength and wisdom to realize how I'm feeling, and to tell God that I know it's your plan. I know you are busy shaping me as a person the way I'm feeling now. So it's okay. Let me feel for this now. But tomorrow, help me to feel better. Remember, before you born, God has a plan for you. There's this book, and this book has your name on it. And in that book, your life is written out perfectly. You just have to live it. But the secret to that is you don't know how to live it. So that's why we need to pray every day and ask God to guide us through that plan. To ask Him, let me follow your plan, not my plan as a person. Remember, we as people, we are quick to say, oh, but I want to do this and I want to do that. But it's not up to us. It's not up to me to play for the Springboks. That was God's plan for me. I just need to find sport. I just needed to work hard every day to become successful for the person I am today. And that's my message to you. Anything happening in your life is there for a reason. And remember, always be better, a better person the next day as you were the previous day.